before I decide to keep going, I'm going to just have to, you know, move forward and download them as I can. All right, so this is the part where you're talking about me. This is, you said moving on. Meemaw's second child I know only slightly more about. Slightly more, you don't really know anything because you never listen. She was a rebellious teenager. Now, let me give you credit. I was a rebellious teenager. I was born in a different era than my sisters. So, yes, I was. And, I never got in no legal trouble. But, hell, I was a child of the 70s, teenager of the 70s. I wore clothes that my parents didn't approve of. I wanted to cut my hair, I wanted, it was just a whole different time, all right? Half the time I was wearing hip huggers with little short tops. Of course, they did not want me to. That just wasn't, for them anyway. Plus, coming behind my two sisters that were virtually perfect and good, and yeah, jealous a little bit. I was, because I just couldn't. I could not be that way. So anyhow, you know, it took a lot of years for me to understand that we two different times and two different periods and two different eras. It's just different. It was a different mindset. So there we go. Let's see what she said. Oh, she was a rebellious teenager and would go on to have multiple children by multiple men. Most she did have the decency to marry. Well, isn't that special? Okay, let me clarify something. I did not have multiple children by multiple men. I have multiple children, yes. And I was married prior to, before. I wasn't married 10 times. I was married, I'm going to just be honest because I just can't think of any other way to be. I was married very young because I was, it was this is still in the 70s. And, you just got married when when you created a child and that you just couldn't go back to school. You had to get married. You had to do the right thing. So anyway, I was 16 when I got married. Now, he was abusive. He was mean and he was cruel. And I hope you do knock on his door because I promise if that's the way he showed me love, the way he did, then he's probably just gonna rearrange your whole body chemistry because I don't believe he's gonna care for you quite as much. So anyway, you go ahead and knock on that door. I want you to. All right. I truly do. So that's where I told you just go in there first. All right. Then I married my best friend in the world he just kept me out of so much trouble because I was still pretty, I was quite, I was just out. He just kept me out of trouble. Let me just put it that way. And no legal trouble or anything like that. Like if he was my DD, he was my driver. Just little things. He always kept me safe. And I married him. That's another story. Like I said, if you want to hear it, I'll tell you. But anyhow, he was great. And we're still very much friends today. We didn't have a nasty divorce or there was nothing, we both knew what, we were friends. Sometimes you can marry your best friend, sometimes you can't. Okay, we never really even argued. It's just we found that we both still were living pretty much as friends most of the time. I mean, we had a great time, now don't get me wrong, in pretty much every area of our life. But, and he cooked for me every day he was home. He was the one in the Navy, and he was gone a lot. And he was also, he was when your mother was at my house the day you were born. But we don't want to skip ahead now, do we? Okay, so you can contact him. He'd love to tell you about that. Because, in fact, he's the one that cleaned out the car. Okay, so, yeah, you go ahead. Like I said, he's down in Tampa. All right, and then you said I would become highly addicted to pain medication. What's so funny is you make everything sound so criminal. An addiction she shared with her teenage daughters. No, Mary, hand before God or anything in this world that stands for truth. That is a lie. Okay, total lie. Was I on pain medication at some point in my life? Yes, I was, because I have, headaches, unbelievable migraines, cluster headaches, and this was prior to really taking Imitrex or the medications that were created for these type of headaches, because pain medicine generally will cause them to be worse. But regardless, that had nothing to do with you, and they were prescribed, nothing illegal. And when I decided I didn't want to take them no more, I quit taking them. I stopped taking them. I didn't cry and whine. It was hell. I ain't gonna kid you not. And I swear to myself I'd never take nothing like that again. And I would make sure before I did what it means when you don't have it, because they don't really explain all this stuff to you when medicine's prescribed. But I got through that on my own, kept my job, kept my family together because I am my mother's daughter. That kind of strength is there to draw from. And I'm thankful that I did and I had it. And you know, it just upsets me when I see ones like you that could be that way and are not. When it's in you, you just don't fight for it. You don't push for it. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, wait a minute. Lord, I can't. I think I brightened it and didn't mean to. Let me. I hate killing time here. Let's see. Let's try this way. Didn't have, maybe my arm slipped. Okay, and she does. Okay, drugs are a family affair around these parts. Totally, that's you were pretty much big in them. Now, if that's your way of deflecting, go right ahead and do what you do and say what you say. But I know, I don't have to defend myself, and I know who I am, what I am, and what I take, what I don't take. She does all this while the mindset that CPTSD isn't real, and she's doing just fine. This is a mindset shared by many people in my family who are indeed not fine. That's not for you to judge, okay? Now, just because you feel that you need every therapist in the world to believe anything and everything and get self-pity, you're in it for the self-pity. We push through our issues. Now, do I need help? Yes, I do, because my soul is grieved. And apparently, I know I got enough sense to know I am not handling it well. I don't. My life just falls apart quite often here, but I'm always alone when that happens because I know how to wipe my face and get up and do what I need to do. I function. I will never be the person that I was once before, but I'm not going to get on here and have a self-pity party. Most of the time, you don't hear from me when I'm in a downward place because I don't want to bring other people down. I don't want that. You enjoy it. It's part of who you are. To me, you have a psychopath's kind of spirit about you where tearing people down or taking joy and love and life from them is where you draw your strength from. Well, I'm not that person, okay? Not me. Never was, never will be. So we know we're not always fine. We don't need you to blast it across the world, but we don't share. Now we will share a lot of things if we see someone struggling, and if what we say may benefit them at all, we will share. You just have never been one to listen, so you don't know what it is that we have to give or not give. And this one is the reason why. This bottom line here is just did me in when I read this now. One of her children committed suicide. Another 2 or 3 would be in and out of jail with drug problems. Creating children with multiple different men. Everybody's doing just fine. That, Lord, girl, you better. I hope you do one day to get the money to take all of us to court, because you're gonna have to prove these words, which you openly admitted that you could prove everything in here. So you're going to have to prove my daughter committed suicide because, see, unlike you who hide when other people are sitting with people who are passing away, or like with my mother, I am there, okay? I am there. I was with my daughter, and I know you went too far. You go too far. And this is one reason I actually started out trying to contact you on, your little channel, because your book, thankfully, it was just let everybody there. But you know what? You kept blocking me and ignoring me, and then you'd go to Facebook and say horrible things, and I couldn't get through to you. So this is why we are here today. This right here is why we are here today. Is it important to anyone else? Probably not. No. And a lot of people may not understand how this affected me. But the lies that you've told through this whole garbage trash manual of yours was enough to make me speak up, because I could not carry on with my life living a quiet existence as if you weren't out there doing this, because I can't. I'm just not that person. May I be judged for it? Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Well, it'd be bad or good. Whatever it is, I went with my soul feeling, and I don't regret it. Not at all. So I'm going to keep on speaking out against your little garbage. So, but let's carry on here, because oh no, we didn't cover the jail thing. Listen, now you you like to call out other people's things to deflect from your own. You're the one that's in and out of jail. Now my son, bless his heart, he gets in trouble, but it's the funniest thing you've ever heard. They laugh at him down there because, like, he would drink too much, put on scuba gear, go through an apartment complex, being Scuba Dan. He's just a very funny person. I mean, we all have a sense of humor. Now, his sense of humor got him in trouble a few times, because that late at night, you shouldn't be running around scuba gear. But nothing ever serious. Okay, nothing. And my youngest son, he drinks for pleasure when he wants to, and he has every right to. He's quite old enough. He's a very sensible. He's a hard worker. He's a great father. Nothing you can say about him negative would even remotely be true. So, here again, you don't know, so you just made it up. You just thought you needed to make up stuff. Got to turn the page. Got to figure. Oh, just scrolling up here. Okay, here's your mom. You're talking about your mother, and you know what? I'm only gonna say this part about this part. You said she had trouble in school and would drop out at the age of 13 to become her father's drinking buddy. Not true. You could not drop out of school at 13. Even then, I mean, I know you think we were born into cave stage ages, but we were not. There was laws. You could not drop out of school until you were 16. Now, nowadays, you have to have parental consent to do that, here in Georgia, that is. But then, at 16, you didn't have to. You could drop out if you wanted to, or for whatever reason. She had trouble in school because she had a learning disability that, I don't particularly know what happened. I know that during that time, my mom's pregnancy with her, there was, strikes, and there was a lot going on as far as financial. So the food really wasn't something we had an abundance of. So I don't know if it was, just simple malnutrition. I don't know what it was. I know it wasn't from alcohol or drugs or anything. But, she did have a learning disability. Just slight. She was a little slower, but she got through. She was always quiet and always had a smile on her face. And my father did not drink. He didn't drink. He drank when he was younger, but you just carry it through life, don't you? You think because you're the way you are, everybody else is, and you want to blame somebody, but that's not going to work for him. And you said your mother would have a drinking problem for decades to come. Let me ask you something. How in the world would you know how long or when she quit drinking or when she started? First of all, you weren't there. Second, you have no idea what her life was the last, the years that you stayed away. And trust me, that's all coming out. That you weren't, you weren't part of that. You weren't there. You were over with my mom, and I take a lot of blame for that, but you not so much as I should have stepped in and said, "Mom, send that girl home. She has sisters there. I mean, let them, let Katrina grow up and take care of her family." All right, and I think we're not even going to discuss your father, because I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of my opinion, my thoughts, or anything else. You're not getting it. I'm done with that. Okay, let's see. Oh, this one. Here's another thing just brought me up here. I don't even want to repeat it, okay? They can read it for themselves. That first, there was events that occurred, but your father was not involved. I can say that with all honesty. And how dare you? How dare you bring something so private and personal and painful to your garbage? Something that was never even reported. There's no records of anything like that because, that's another story. But how dare you? You should really be ashamed of yourself. Truly despicable. You are garbage. And that helped, bring me out a lot because you won't speak for no one else again. Not without someone telling the truth. I promise you that. How dare you? How dare you? I don't even do that to you now. I don't share things like that. I would not ever. So how dare you? Please answer me. How dare you? Okay? We're not going to discuss your brother. I made a video saying out there that I was not going to bring that up again. I'm not going to keep dishonoring him through you to give you the opportunity to, okay? It's not going to happen. So let's just move on. You dishonor people on your own, not with my help. Let me see where we're at before we go back. Let's see. It's talking about you. This is just you and your garbage. Oh, we're getting close to your... We're about ready to talk about you being born, ain't we? Yeah, we're about almost there. Hallelujah. Because this is a good one. I'm going to have to stop. Oh, let me stop right here. I'll pick it back.